the application of machine learning and optimization techniques in economics. Sir, you can start from there.
Thank you.
If can we come little forward so that sir can see you? Yes, last please. Can you come here? Yes, yes, please. He wants to talk about the class.
My slides visible to all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can I start?
Yes, sir. Please start.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Today I am going to tell you some story. From this, you would learn how to make decisions, especially in the complex situation. Let's begin. First, start with my today's routine. Uh, Usually, I am a procrastinator and typically avoid my brain and my mind not synchronized together. At 6 o'clock, my brain told it you want to wake up, but my don't agree to wake up. So at that point of time, my brain both are debating each other, and ultimately I wake up at 7 o'clock. In between, I have think many things and decide many things. Next, I think I can clean my teeth. So for this, should I use a teeth cleaning twing or brush? As shown in picture, brush and toothpaste to clean my teeth. So I have four options: two cleaning twing, and two paste I have. And brush is common for both the toothpaste. So because preferably personally I prefer twig over brush and toothpaste. So and in two types of twig, first is neem and second one is crunch. So in our village we prefer neem only. So you can generally see I have four options, but I choose first one. Similarly, every day I do yoga, multiple yoga, but not repeatedly every day. So in that point of time also I have to basically decide which yoga I have to perform today. Next, when I enter to the bathroom, I have three options to bath. First, without soap. Second, with soap. And third, with body wash. Today I use soap. Next, cloth selection, because in the North India there is a winter session going on. So I have to wear some winter clothes like sweater, sweatshirt, or jacket, or you can say tracksuit, anything. So now you are seeing me in the sweatshirt. So I decided that I will use sweatshirt for this presentation. Similarly, there are many decisions we are taking every day. So could you believe how many decisions do you make every day? Usually, audience, anyone?
No, sir.
Can you guess how many decisions do we make every day? An average person makes around 35,000 conscious decisions every day. However, this number can be changed higher or lower depending on the various factors, such as the complexity of the decision being made, the person's level of autonomy and control over their environment, and the person's level of mindfulness and awareness. So, next, audience, if you want to recall one very interesting match happened between India and Bangladesh in 2020 World Cup in 2016. In that match, India scored 146 by 7 against Bangladesh 145 by 9. Ultimately, India won the match and reached to the semi-final. This match is very crucial for both the team. But interesting part is in the last ball, because in the last ball Bangladesh need 1 run to tie and 2 run to won the match. But at that point of time, three players, Indian skipper Mahan Singh Dhoni, Ashish Nehra, and Hardik Pandya discussed together and decided that Hardik Pandya will bowl last ball just short and wide outside off. What happened? The player who is facing that ball, Swagata, is unable to connect that ball, and ultimately Mustafizur and Swagata tried to get by run, but ultimately Dhoni just run out, just reach to the stump and just run out the Mustafizur. But interesting point is here there are many uncertainty going on between all these stuff. First, where Hardik Pandya will going to ball. Second, Dhoni throws his right hand glove in the at the time of when he are receiving last ball. And next thing, Dhoni did not throw ball from the wicket keeper in, just run out and just break the stumps. So can you imagine there are many activities going on between these only one balls. There are many uncertainty involved in there, and you can't imagine that each events, each actions have some consequences. Next, you can see spouse selections in an arranged marriage. Once Professor Bernard Roth from Stanford University come to India at the Indian Institute of Science. How many of you are familiar with Indian Institute of Science? One day, he visited a student's hostel room. The name of that student was Mr. Kumar. In his room, he saw some data sets written on the whiteboard. Professor Roth asked, "What is it, Mr. Kumar?" Mr. Kumar replied, "Sir, I received 6 proposals for the marriage and I have to choose the best and reject the rest. For this, I have interacted with each candidate once and tried to collect as much information about them. Based on my personal assessment, I assigned numbers and found that the second candidate is the best for me." Professor Roth became very happy and excited when he witnessed a young engineer using decision theory to its spouse selection problem. So this table, this data set written on the whiteboard of Mr. Kumar study rooms. And second thing, this incident mentioned in one book by Professor Bernard Roth. The name of that book is The Achievement Habit. You can also read that book. That book is very interesting, especially those who want to do managerial decisions. Next example is on 14th February 2019, there is a one very unfortunate events happen when one of the most deadliest terror attack on Indian security forces CRPF, and at least 44 CRPF personnel were martyred and another 20 injured. So at that point of time, our prime minister decided and just said in one election rally that we must teach a lesson to those who are involved in this. So at that point of time, what's the India's options? India's have many options. First, diplomatic, whoever UN member or permanent member in the UN Council or the developing country or developed country, Indian ambassadors meet with each other and convey their consent, and based on that, they try to impose some sanction on the Pakistan. Next, maybe the tit for tat policy, like Pakistan ISI funding to the terror group within the Kashmir. So India can also fund some faction in Pakistan like Tehreek-e-Taliban or BLA, Balochistan Liberation Army. Similarly, hurt economically. And third is that is a hidden action. But one that one is military action. Military action may be either surgical strike like 2016 or naval blockade, because Karachi airport, Karachi port is very crucial for Pakistan. Their majority of economic activities going through the happen through the Karachi airport. So because in majority of Indian Ocean belongs to the India, so India can block the Pakistani economic activity. And third one is Balakot air strike. And finally, Indian government have approved this, and Indian Air Force uh, done it, performed it. So, examine all four examples and try to obtain some insights. In first two example, in today's routine, I was the decision maker. In the spouse selection problem, Mr. Kumar is the decision maker. But in the case of 2016 match between India and Pakistan, there are three players collectively decide which type of ball I have to make. Like there, Hardik Pandya, Ashish Nehra, and MS Dhoni. Similarly, what action India will take, that is basically decided by the one CCS committee from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, Defense Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Army Chief General Bipin Rawat, Air Chief Marshal V.S. Dhanova, and Navy Chief Admiral Sunil Lamba. Next, what we have the decision, when you want to decide, only when if you have two or more alternative, two or more options. If you have only one option, then how you anybody can decide? You have to do it. There is no need of that any decision. If you have only one option, anyhow you have to do. But if you have two or more alternatives, you can uh, you have to choose between which action, which alternative is best suited to me or Mr. Kumar, or uh, or even in the group for the Indian cricket team, or in the for the India as a country, India as a state. But all the actions, all the activities have some consequences. Some have short term, some have medium term consequence, and some have long term consequence. Basically, short term consequences have very less effect, less consequence. Short term decisions are those that have immediate effects and are made to address immediate needs and problems, just like a to do list to day activities. But in medium term, they have some effect, but longer term, they have some still requires some attention to formulate it. Like India versus Bangladesh cricket match. If India even lose that match, it doesn't mean that India's cricket goes harm. Similarly, if you invest, if you buy durable goods in your home like TV, fridge, because it is for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or your financial investment, then that type of basically investment is comes under the medium term type of decision. And third one is long term decision that's have a longer effect. For example, if Kumar ends with the wrong selection, maybe his life is not happy as much. He is going to choose the best one. There are many reasons. Maybe Kumar is happy or not, I don't know. But just let me just guess. Just I'm kidding. And similarly, there are lots of consequences of Balakot air strike. Maybe this war was escalate between India and Pakistan, and both are nuclear country. So it is very difficult when while deciding the any action, any wrong action, we have to prefer both left and right as well. So in the last when we discuss about the decision making between Indian cricket team and Balakot air strike, you see that there are group decision making happen, but group decision making also classify into two categories. One is majority based group decision making, and another one is consensus based group decision making. In majority based group decision making, for is for example voting system. In voting system, for example, in Karnataka, uh, next assembly election will going on. Whoever for any particular constituency, whoever candidate get lots of largest votes there, they will win. So, but in that case, that is very faster and more efficient. On the other hand, consensus based groups decision making, we type all together and we have to accept all the members whatever the outcome will come. It is more inclusive but may take more time and effort to reach agreement. There are some benefits of consensus based decision making. When you decide, for example, within your home you want to visit some tourist destination, and we discuss with your all family members instead of imposing your desire. At that point, if you are then it is a there is a cooperation between with your family members, there is a harmony as well as mutual respect to each other. But on the other hand, if you will decide the same thing with the help of majority based like voting, suppose three of them are telling one place and two of them are telling one place, and where you have to went to the where the majority of them want to go, at that point of time there is some non-cooperation between two individuals, those who are not support of that. There is dissonance and non-cooperation among the individuals. So for the large populations, preferably we use the voting systems, and for the small population we generally prefer consensus based group decision making problem. There are many types of group decision making methods already developed in the literature, for like many types of voting system, many types of consensus based group decision making method already developed. You can basically go, and if you want to learn, then you can find very interesting. the the majority of them is because in the business decision problem we try to make consensus amongst all the individual who was a member in that decision making problem. But why is the art of decision making so crucial? Because it allows individuals to uh, effectively evaluate options and choose the best course of action. Decision making is an important skill because it allows individual to effectively evaluate options and choose the best course of action. In the art of decision making, one must weigh the pros and cons of each actions and each options, and ultimately make a choice that is aligned with your goal and value. Next thing is that effective decision making can lead to better outcomes and greater success in both your personal level as well as professional level. So next thing is, but why we have some cognitive limitation? We can't process all the information in the mind, and we come up with the which option is best and which option is second best. All this stuff. Mind have some. There are lots of limitations, cognitive limitations. Next, oh, decision makers deal with incomplete, imprecise, and vagueness of information. When you want to inquiry about the all the options, you are unable to get all the information about any options. Typically, in the general case, for the simple, you can, but in the complex problem, it is very hard to get complete information, and only intuition is insufficient in human decision making. And next, logical thinking is also needed for the rational decision making. But in the 21st century, because artificial intelligence and data science is going in are booming, at that point of time, for example, when you watch on YouTube, or then you get lots of suggestion. When and you want, you become, you basically live in the trap of that. Same thing with the when you buy some product from the Amazon, they start suggesting. At that point of time, your mind must be behaves like a critical thinker. what you want to watch, you decide, not the computer will decide, not the program will decide. Similarly, what you want to buy, you should decide, instead of becomes influence on the whatever the suggestion given by the some companies. So based on that, you must focus on the decision making process, and you must train your mind as per requirement. So there are three types of decision making available in the literature. First one is rationality. Typically in economics, we most of the time focus on rational decision maker. But for the rational decision maker, we require logical and systematic thinking. Next thing, all relevant information is taken into account, and whatever the available information is, based on that, they try to get based action. Next thing is bounded rationality. Bounded rationality refers to the limitations of our ability to make fully rational decision due to the cognitive and emotional constraints. And next one is intuition based decision making, which is whatever the experience you are getting from your education, your past experiences, or from the heuristic from your past family members experiences, whatever you get, you apply whenever the crucial situation comes. The rationality and intuition, these are the completely uh, you can say two ends of one decision making. Rationality requires full information. It is very hard to obtain full information. Second thing, our mind does not behave most of the time rationally. For example, suppose you are in Dharwad and you want to eat pizza. There are two places, for example, there are two places where you can enjoy this meal, pizza. One, the meal that basically made by one restaurant, you are away from 3 kilometers, and one restaurant is just near to you. So typically human don't want to go 3 kilometer away, because although the 3 kilometer away restaurants giving you best pizza, and those restaurants who provided pizza to you near to you, basically just marginal. So typically, so this indicates that this type of decision generally people takes, this comes under the bounded rationality. But in the case of rationality, if the best pizza given even the 3 kilometers away, you basically go and there and enjoy your meal. So this is little bit difference between the rationality and bounded rationality. Bounded rationality just we compromise with the best most of the time. So in that case, do you have any problem? Do you any doubt to any audience? Sir, what assignment do you know? Nowadays, artificial intelligence is very popular. But who is the father of that discipline? Father of that discipline is Herbert Simon, who is a technically psychologist as well as economist. He received Nobel Prize in economics to their decision making contributions related to that. According to him, economic man maximizes, selects the best alternative from among all those available to him. His cousin administrative man satisfies, looks for a course of action that is satisfactory or good enough. In administrative man don't care about the base, whatever you are getting. And Herbert Simon, who is the first one who challenged the notion of perfect rationality in the decision theory, and introduced and described a new concept called bounded rationality. Typically, real decision behaviors is neither totally rational or not totally irrational. He further proposed a model for the behavioral decision making when an individual facing the solving the complex decision making problem. In that case, according to him, any complex problem can be break into three parts. First one is intelligent activity, second one is design activity, and third one is a choice activity. Here the first phase can be called intelligent activity. In that phase, decision makers identify their goals, their problems, and acquires relevant information as much as they can. In the second phase, basically concerned to the design activity and model building, evaluate all the alternatives systematically and analyze all of the potential outcome. From this step, the agent can either design a new mechanism or use a suitable existing techniques. Meanwhile, the decision maker does a closer inspection of the methodology and analysis of the finding. The last stage is in the choice activity. The decision maker select the alternatives that leads to the best outcome. Moreover, he can reinvestigate the first phase or second phase and repeat this procedure again and again. So we take one example, for example, ACE selection. Simple example. We want to buy ACs from the market, and there are many brands available to it. I have taken only four because data not found for some brands. And what I have done, my problem is first is intelligent activity. In this phase, decision maker identifies the problem and acquisition of relevant information. My problem is what? I have to buy 1 ton 5-star split air conditioner, which AC is suitable for me. So LG is there and average rating on Amazon there. Some person wants to buy branded products. Someone very sensitive on the price level. They want to buy very cheap product. Someone is very in the long term because you don't want to expend on those who consume lots of power, and someone on the feedback of the customers. So based on three, there are many attributes you can also include if data is available, and you can then try to find out which one is best suited for you. Each the preference of yours varies from me because it is an individual desire. Which AC is suitable for me, it indicates that it is varies from person to person. Although information is common whatever I am getting, but the maybe the ranking of all the ACs may be from person to other person. Second is the design activity. We divide design activity of the decision problem into two sub problems. First, cardinal approximation of relative weights of attribute, and second, ranking of the attribute. For example, if you can recall the marriage example of Mr. Kumar, they evaluates each candidate on the multiple attributes: appearance, look, education, all these stuff. Similarly, here and they basically assign some weights on the attributes. If the weights does not, the attributes does not matter to any individual, in that case the weight of that attributes is zero. But ultimately, whenever you decide, weights of the each attributes is matter while ranking the all the attributes. So our first task is calculation of relative weights of the attribute, and decision maker does closer inspection of our methodology analysis of each and every part. So from here we focus on design activity. Now, for the relative weights calculation, there are two methods available. One is direct method and second one is indirect method. Each method has some advantages and some disadvantages. In the direct method, these are very simple and easy to apply. And disadvantage of these method are decision maker can manipulate relative weights of the attribute. Suppose Mr. Kumar only focus on the look. in that case, maybe he can't recognize the qualification or what they are getting from the other options. Can you recall other options? So in that case, the decision maker can manipulate as per their requirement, as per their requirement. So in that case, he is unable to do rational decision, rational formulation, rational assignment to weights to the attributes. And in the indirect methods, we basically just uh, ask to the decision maker, could you rank all the between the all the attributes, and based on the ranking of the decision maker of regarding all the attributes, we generally approximate the relative weights of the all attributes. But disadvantage of this type of method is, for the larger number of attributes, computational complexity is high. And second thing is, whenever there is a linear relationship between the attributes, this method is not suitable for that. So, for example, we want to calculate weights of the brands, cost, power consumptions, and rating. So, for in the direct method, just I am giving some examples. A1 assigned 20, A2 assigned 25, A3 assigned 30, and A4 assigned 25. Here is the, we take 100 on 100-point scale. And what is the weight? Sum of weight is equal to 1. So just simply Wi is equal to AI upon summation of an AI 20 upon 100.2. Similarly, A2 0.25. Just A3 for A3 weights of A3 30 upon 100. This type we have calculated. So we must keep in mind that there are certain drawbacks associated with use of the direct rating technique. If the decision maker buys to any particular alternative, he can manipulate relative weights of the attributes using direct rating technique. Besides that, direct rating method is not suitable for the linguistic variable as well, because how can you evaluate look? You can say, for the any person, if you want to evaluate look, maybe he is fair, good, very good, most beautiful, maybe he is poor, fair. All these the evaluation is good, because in that case you are evaluating on the subjective level. You can't assign any number. So two things keep in mind. First, suppose Mr. Kumar want to focus on only one attributes, they can assign directly 40, 50, or 70 or 80. In that cases, the ranking of all the alternative may changes in the future. So in that cases, our decision maker becomes very biased. So this method, a direct method, is very easy but not suitable for the rational decision making. So in that cases, there are many methods developed, which is indirect method, rank order centroid, rank sum, rank reversal. I have just taken one here. Just rank all the alternatives. Based on that, just so for example, we have taken example of four alternatives. So in that case, four attributes. In that case, if you are ranking them, someone is first rank, someone is second, someone in third, someone in fourth place. So for the first, those who have on the first places, 1 upon 4, summation of 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4. For the second attributes, 1 by 4, summation of, because 1 is gone, so 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4. For the third attributes, 1 by 4, summation of 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4. And for in this way, you can calculate the rank order of centroid. Similarly, you can calculate for the rank sum also. Just put I based on the ranking of the attribute. And one method is analytic hierarchy process, through which you can also calculate the relative weights of the attributes. If time available, then I will show you in the PDF file how the analytic process develop and how it is work. And main advantage of indirect method is based on utility theory, and we economists very like utility theory, and we must focus on, because in the whenever you decide the what you are getting, it's matter. We can't quantitatively calculate the utility of any actions, happiness or sadness, whatever, but you can rank. and we are using the ideas of utility theory in calculating the relative weights of the attribute, but it is not suitable if there is a correlation among the attributes exists. Now, based on that, now we have calculated the relative weights of the attributes. Now we have to rank all the attributes, all the alternative, whatever the weight we have calculated in the previous one. So for this, just I have implied for the SC selection Topsis method technique for order preference by similarity to an ideal solution. And for this, we use evaluation matrix. And in that case, for each alternative, we make a decision matrix, and we do rigorous computation, and then we come up to the final result. I will show in the last whatever I get in the final calculation. This is the tool that helps you evaluate different options by considering multiple factors. And notion of the method was very simple. For each alternative, find distance from positive ideal solution from negative ideal solution. Finally, select option that nearest to the positive ideal solution and farthest from the negative ideal solution. And based on the calculation, I found that for me, voltage rank 1 and purple get last, सबसे worst, and blue star on the second. And typically, at the in the third phase, because this gives the outcomes. Now third phase comes choice activity. In the last phase, a decision maker can choose the best outcome. I have the option, I have to buy voltage or reiterate with all the procedure again. Moreover, he can reinvestigate the phase 1 and phase 2 and repeat the procedure each and every time, you whenever you want. So what is the advantage? The method simple and easy to apply all these stuff. But disadvantage here is that this method is based on Euclidean distance and unable to account the correlation among the attributes in the final judgment, whatever we are making. So what we take away from all the discussion? Practically, we are bounded rational. We typically don't act rationally all the time. Most of the time, we uh, uh, behaves bounded rational way, in the way of bounded rational, you can say. Whenever you take crucial decision, try to acquire as much information as you can. Focus on intelligent activity. And next thing is, the solution is not unique. For example, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 for me, and maybe all of you are agree with this solution. But this solution is differ from person to person, as well as differ when you change the methods. Suppose the whatever weights calculated from the ROC method, if I will change the method of weight calculation, for example, I will apply AHP, then my ranking of the all the alternatives may got changes. And all these type of complex decision making processes can be applied at your home, when or you try to decide tourist spot or even faculty recruitment. Even you are in some meetings, you try to incorporate this type of decision making, where try to become a rational. And especially in the immediate and long term decisions problem, try to investigate each and every aspects, and then come with your whatever you want to take action. Whatever I have mentioned, there are three steps according to Herbert Simon. Further, many researchers have break all the stuff in the many form. For example, in the intelligent activity, they break it into up to 4: problem identification, define the goal or objective; acquisition of relevant information; identify feasible alternatives; identify criteria. These all comes under the intelligent activity. Next, model building, and finally predict the outcome of each alternative and ranking and selection, whatever you want. And finally, analysis of the result. The last two part is repetitive in nature. Although all three are not, you can say, there is always there is a thin line between all these stuff. There are you can iterate from first to second, second to first, first to third, third to second. These are not isolated to each other. So so whenever you decide in the complex situation, you must go through all the stuff. So in the last item, one point I want to highlight: instead of acting rationally, people frequently act emotionally, which influences their final decision. If you decide emotionally, this is not good for the personal level as well as the professional level. So try to become a rational, try to become not you are actually become a completely rational, but try to become a rational person, rational individual. In the second last slide, I want to throw some interesting secretary problem. Suppose you are a CEO of your company and wants to hire one secretary, and you have 100 resume for this. So in that case, you want to select the best secretary among a fixed number of applicants. You evaluate applicants one by one randomly, and you have to decide either to select or reject the applicant. Here catch is here is that recalling of rejected applicants is not allowed. So suppose if you select all the alternatives randomly, and if you select in the early of the in the early of the interview, because if you reject any candidate, you are unable to recall. So in the early stage, if you are selected, that means that the good candidate will later come. So you are not satisfied with. When you delay too much, at that point of time, maybe good candidate already gone. So when to stop, when to say yes, what is the solution for that? This is very interesting problem. One physicist, well-known physicist Galileo, when his first wife was died, so for the second marriage, he basically he have 11 options, and one by one he will wait it, and ultimately concluded that after five, I think after four or five, his option is six. So in that case, here the decision maker like you cannot recall once the decline a candidate. It is hard to decide when the you stop their search. So there are two types of further modification of this problem, but we answer of that solution is 1 by e%, 1 by e multiplied by 100, and this come to the 37%. And it means that suppose you have 100 applicants, so up to 37%, up to 37, you evaluate each and every candidate, and which of the best is keep in mind. And after the 37%, whoever, as much as whatever best you have already gone, you have to say that person either best or say yes to them. So solution of that. So thank you for your attention and participation. Moreover, I would like to thank organizers for inviting me. I welcome any questions or comments you may have. So Parveen, get back
Yes.
to you.
Anybody
Any
have?
doubt?
Please ask. Okay. Please ask.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what is your comment on? I don't believe in taking right decisions. I take decisions and then make them right. Said by Ratan Tata.
How do you evaluate your outcomes, whatever? It vary from person to person. What do you think in the business problem? What anybody say, whatever the outcome, it is not depend upon only you. You are not lives in a silo. You live with the multiple people in the societies. We must care about them. So in that scenario, in that situation, we must care about all the individuals, those who are associated with you. So in that point of in that context, and want to become rational, we must be all this stuff keep in mind. Are you ready? Are you agree with me?
Yes, sir. I will answer.
Next.
So, what is meaning of intuition?
What again? Could you repeat it?
What is intuition?
Intuition. Intuition, whatever you are, suppose you are stand up right now and uh, basically asking a question from me. So in the previous class, Maybe you also ask question from your teachers. This comes from the intuition. Here you can't think too much. You just whatever you have learned from the past actions, what activities. Generally, it is very applied by the army personnel. Yes, and all the individuals, all the officers, basically largely trained how to take intuition decisions, which is most correct in the sense because they faces bullet to bullet. If they make lots of error at that point of time, maybe shot down. So intuition comes from your experience, what you have done. For example, for any cricketer, for each time they basically decide whatever the ball they are facing. Based on that, they give the treatment. It's come from the intuition, and intuition which defined from the your education, your qualification, whatever, which types of peers you are living with, which type of interaction. Typically, when you move through the our uh, you can say in Hindu religion literatures, in Kal Bhusundi Sambad, some person tells that if you want to learn knowledge, then you have to follow two things. Either you go to the teacher or through the Bairag. And other now a recent trend is just suppose you want to learn something, either you learn from the books or through the teachers or through the peers or maybe your personal experiences. There are many factors, many ways to learn. And whatever decision you are taking in the complex situation, this is come from your intuition. You are not using pen and paper. Okay. So this comes under the intuition.
Thank you, sir.
Are you getting my point?
Are you getting it? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone next?
Sir, intuition is better or rationality is better to take the decisions?
Could you repeat it again? Pardon, please. I am able to listen to your voice.
Rational decision better or intuition decision is better?
Actually, I am not able to hear you precisely, so I can't comment on that. Yeah,
Rational decision is better or intuition decision is better, sir?
it depends
Why taking
because in rational decision you need all the information, even what is the post consequences. For example, you want suppose I have given one example of the tooth. He will toothpaste selection. I have given my personal experience. Okay, in that case, I have all the four stuff: neem stick, as well as crunch stick, as well as close up, and uh, uh, one more paste there. So in that case, because I prefer stick, so I basically what I have done, my first preference is neem stick, then crunch, then close up, and then sensodyne. I have ranked all the and based on that, I have decided I will use neem stick. But suppose you don't have sufficient information. So in that cases, your intuition come in mind. For example, any army officers goes to in the any difficult situation, always take decision on the intuition. They are not stay with the thinking about all the stuff, because if you don't have precise information, how can you make rational decisions? So information is very important because uncertainty associated with each and every action whatever you will take. So, are you satisfied with my answer?
Yes, sir.
Is there any other question or we will wind it up because we have a time constraint? That's all. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. It was quite an informative session. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.